as far as the second assignment is concerned, today the third batch of people will present will continue the robot programming. Go ahead with your presentations.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, all of you. Today I will be presenting my presentation on rail programming. So is my content visible to you all?
Not yet, not yet. Populating. Yes,
Yes.
give F5. Give F5.
Yeah. So today I will be presenting sample program and programming analysis on rail language. So something description about the rail language. So it is the second generation rail language. It is automatic language for computer aided manufacturing, and it is designed to control the company's robotic visions, and this is basically designed at that time for welding and doing for the welding purpose. So rail controls command for controlling the robot and assembly operation for
Guru, give F5 and then continue your presentation.
website, sir.
F5, function 5.
Okay, yeah, sir. Now is it visible, sir? For
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, so I was continuing rail is also contain command for interfacing with automatic vision like machine vision system, which is designed for inspecting and identification in a manufacturing operation. So what are the features that we have in rail language? So rail language provides different types of features like command for moving the robot, including approaching or departing from the locations, robot welding commands, and facilities for setting welding parameters such as voltage and feed wire rate. As I told you before that it was for basically for welding. And locations, it has three types of location: points, path, and reference frame. So there are a variety of statements to control the motion of the robot in rail programming language. First is move P1, which causes the robot to move in the joint interpolation from where it's present to the location P1. And second is move sleeve P1. This corresponds to jointed interpolated movement of a robot arm. This arm is moved from the point to point using the least possible motion of each, and it is coordinated fashionly so that all the point jumps from start and stop moving at the same time. Move circular path, it will move from the point P1 to P3 using the circular arc through the point P2. Approach 50 P1. This command will instruct the robot to move near the location P1 and locate along the z-axis in the positive direction apart by the distance of 50. And similar to the approach is depart, it will depart it from the distance 50. Robot hand 180. This will rotate the end effector by the from where it is present to the in the clockwise direction in 180 degree. Learn point P1, P2, P3, and P4. These are basically the touch pendant. The touch pendant will teach the robot, and using the record button, it will store all the point in the proper sequence so that it can learn whatever is being taught by the touch pendant. Import port switch 17. This is the variable name switch 1 to the controller with the input at the port 7. So regarding the ports, it is having 16 ports and 48 outputs pin in this robot, and output ports motor 315. This variable name is given to the motor 3 as an output, and controller through the output at port 15. Open instruction end effector to open during the execution of the next motion, and instruction end effector close, and the end effector to close during the execution of the next motion. Motor on and off, this will turn the motor on and off. The wait command, it is used to synchronize the execution of the rail program with the same condition. Read, this is This is used to read numerical input from the robot. Where a read statement is encountered, execution of the program is hated until the operator has entered a number of each variable in the variable list. Read parameter part name. So this statement is used to read using string input from the operator, and the operator must be in line to the text of each variable in the variable list. Write ICM. So the statement is in the rail, and the character strings in the display on the ICM display. The limitation for this is it can only display 24 character in the length. Write command, this is used to write the message to the operator in the CRT. So going through the last slide, save program. So whatever the program we have saved, it is used to save the current values of the rail program. If we want to load the file, it is used to load the file, load command. If then else statement, if statement tells the user that the condition is true and can continue the program. While do statement, it is the statement permits the program to continue and executing the given statement as long as specified test condition is true. Thank you, sir. Next slide will be presenting, and the rail programming analysis will be done by my friends. I think so.
What happened? Go ahead with your presentation.
Sir, I think my Rex roll number is not present today. I don't know what happened. He might be having some problem in his house.
Yes, you are talking about whom?
Sir, I have completed my presentation, sir.
Yes, what happened to Bhavya? Bhavya and Ilakya Chandravashni? I think
Sir,
Bhavya is in the hospital. He is communicated. Bhumika, what happened to Bhumika?
Sir, same with Chandravanshi. He is also in hospital. He was saying to yesterday to me.
Okay, Ilakya. Okay, your presentation is okay. It was recorded and the marks are awarded. Okay, we request the. Yes. Yes, anyone from the third batch want to present? Bhumika, Chandravashni, Ilakya. Yes, no one. I request the fourth batch to continue the presentation. Yes, go ahead with the fourth batch. No, I think Ilakya from the fourth batch. Ilakya, your team. Gomaidahan, Gaurav Kumar Singh, Gaudaman, Gurishwar, Lahari.
Hello.
Pranara, Harikumar.
Hello.
Yes, till Nandan. Yes, go ahead with your presentation.
Yeah, okay. Is it visible, sir? Hello.
Yes, Nandan.
Okay. Good morning, sir. Me and my teammates will be presenting our today's topic, that is AI and expert systems. So, sorry.
It is
Hello. Sir, am I audible clearly?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll start with introduction to AI. So not hopping into the very complex and hard knowing terms, I'll just explain it simply that what is AI. So AI is an intelligent entity that is created by humans, that is capable of performing tasks and take decisions intelligently without being explicitly instructed by humans or some external, mental kind of thing. It is capable of thinking and acting rationally and humanly and respond to some original decisions like with human-like thinking capabilities. So there are some different perspectives through which we can view AI. That is, first is intelligent perspective. So it is the inability to distinguish computer responses from human response. That is shown by a test called Turing test. So you know it restricts like it is expert problem solving, which is like restricting domain to allow including significant relevant knowledge. It can also be viewed from research perspective, like general problem solving, which was like more difficult than originally anticipated. So researchers were able to tackle these problems routinely that was handled by some human experts, because that required a lot of calculation that is like much more time consuming for a human rather than some machines. So the term AI came into the roots of the studies of research areas, like the formal domains through which AI researchers used or applied AI were formal tasks like mathematics, mundane tasks like perception, robotics, natural languages, and common sense reasonings, and expert tasks like financial analysis, medical diagnostics, engineering, scientific analysis, and other areas. It can also become very handy while handling some business perspectives. It has some set of very powerful tools and methodologies which are very useful for solving business problems and take and take some very good and logical approach to solving some very good business problems. From programming perspectives, AI includes study of symbolic programming, problem solving, and search. Typically, AI programs focus on symbols rather than numeric processings, like problem solving and achieving goals, which are specifically set for that particular task. Search, like seldom access a solution directly. It may include a variety of techniques. There are some different programming languages that includes AI. Not hopping into it, but object-oriented languages are also class of languages which are used nowadays for like AI programming. Uh, some examples are commonly used as C++, Python, etc. Now, as our subject deals with robotics, so how AI is going to affect robotics? So at industrial level, AI and robotics can be like collaboratively used for some different kind of purposes like assembly, customer services, packaging, open source robotics. For assembly, AI along with advanced vision systems can help in real-time course correction. It can also help robots to learn which path is best for a certain process while it is in operation. For customer service, AI-enabled robots are being used in customer service capacity in retail and hospitality industries. These robots leverage natural language processing to interact with customer intelligently like human. More than these systems interact with humans also, more they learn with the help of machine learning. For packaging, AI enables quicker, cheaper, and more accurate packaging. It helps in saving certain motions that a robot is making and consistently refines them, making installing and moving robot systems quickly. For open source robotics, robotic systems today are being sold as an open source systems having AI capabilities. In these ways, users can teach robots to perform custom tasks based on specific applications. Some examples are small scale agriculture. So basically, AI and robotics can be compiled together and can be used in a variety of industries and applicable to different kind of uh, different kind of areas to make human work easy and more faster. Now my teammate Gaurav will present about neural networks in much detail. Hello, Gaurav.
Yeah, I'm audible. I'm sharing my content. Wait a second. Is my screen visible now? Hello?
Yeah, Gaurav.
Yeah. Okay. Uh, uh, okay. So, Greece, can you see in my slides neural network?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. So continuing what my friend Himanshu presented, he gave a brief introduction on AI. So let's look deeper what artificial intelligence is. So how these algorithms are implemented. Uh, like we used to train our models using various machine learning and deep learning algorithms. Some of the common algorithms which are popularly used are logistic regression, linear regression, support vector machines, neural network. So these are
Yes,
the
Gaurav.
algorithms that, yeah.
Gaurav, just a minute. Give F5, Gaurav. You minimize your uh, MS team and then give F5. And I think Himanshu Nandan, your presentation is not visible to everyone. When you are presenting, it was in the first slide alone. Anyway, we are going to upload the presentation, but inquire whether the presentation is moving or not.
Sir, can I share the presentation in the chat box?
Yes, you upload in the WhatsApp. I think you consolidate all the 10 people presentation and then upload. That will be better.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
sir, I
And
think now it would be looking
yes,
fine, sir.
give F5, give function 5 or give F5, function 5.
Yes, sir, I
Go
gave,
to,
sir. Now it's, yes, sir.
yes. Now
Yeah.
move to second slide.
Okay.
Yes, it's moving. Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was talking how AI is implemented. We used to train our data using various machine learning algorithms. Some of them I talked about, like support vector machines, neural network. Neural network is one of the powerful algorithm that is widely used. It was developed during 1960s and it became very popular during 90s. Neural network is used to mimic the brain. It is network of artificial neurons. Neural network, how it is working, let's look its representation. We can see the structure of neuron, human brain neuron. We can see dendrite there. Dendrite, it can be considered simple as input wire. We have axon. Axons can be considered as output wire through which several network of neurons are connected and the message is sent. That's how it works. Similar way, engineers, researchers have developed neural network model. We can see we have a networks of neuron here. So how neural network is more efficient algorithm. Neural network provides a good parameterized class of nonlinear function to learn nonlinear classifier. Nonlinear classifier in the sense we can train or classify our data various in the various sense like linearly using straight line. Nonlinear classifier is or any kind of curve shape. So how these nonlinear functions are built in neural network? Neural network involves composition of summation of sigmoid function that makes it nonlinear, and we can see here that it has a network of neurons. What gives it extra benefits? With each progressing layer, this model learn from its previous features. That is an advantage of neural network. So it is a very powerful technique to solve many real world problems. Let's move to see some of the applications of neural network. We all know neural network has a very great role in computer vision, autonomous driving, digit recognitions. These most of the people are familiar. Let me talk about something more, which is a subject of research, and not many work have been done in the field. Like neural network can also be implemented for finite element method for the stress analysis, that is subject of our interest being production and mechanical engineers. This is the field where research can be done. And our group is today presenting expert system. Many computer games also uses neural network algorithm to train the model. Expert system actually mimics the human activity. Like while we play chess, what next move is supposed to made by computer, that is also can be implemented using neural network. Not all, but yeah, it can be used. Let's look deeper into the neural network representation, how it actually works. So we have a input layer, layer 1, hidden layer, layer 2, and the output layer. Each layer contains inputs and the features, and the neural network is trained using the sigmoid model function. We can see G is the sigmoid function, AI is the activation of unit I in layer J, theta J is the matrix of weight controlling function mapping from layer J to layer J plus 1. So coming to second layer, we trained our model using sigmoid function. So we finally got A1, A2, and A3. We will train this again in the next model, and that will give our hypothesis A1, 3, G. G is the sigmoid function. Again, I repeat, and the what we previously calculated. This can be simply shown how neural network works. Let's move further. Neural network can be used to classify binary classification, that is true classification like cat or it's not a cat. It can be also used to classify multi-class classification. Like we have a column vector, you can see it is used to classifying pedestrian, car, motorcycle, truck. In a similar fashion, like we can also classify car, rat, horse, dog, lion.
Gaurav, your voice went.
Yeah, sorry.
Not, yes, yes. Go.
First one is 1, rest are 0, means we have designed in such a way that it will give the pedestrian. In the next one, we can see that first one is 0, second one is 1, third one is 0 and 0. We can see that it's a car. It's our assumption how we develop this model. Let's look into the cost function of the neural network. Cost function is actually what, like, it gives a relationship between the expected value and predicted value. Means what is the actual value and what's our prediction. It gives the error, and it is a way to represent our model mathematically. So I have also included logistic regression here. Actually, when we take a single network in neural network, it will become a logistic regression. When means in neural network, if we have one layer, then that will be a logistic regression, and in neural network we have more than one layer. So let's see the similarities and differences between logistic regression and neural network. We can see that here we have only one summation term, while in neural network we have two summation terms, because layers are increasing. For each layer we are doing the same function what we were doing as a single in logistic regression. And this one is the error term, and this one what is added lambda by 2m summation of theta j square. It is a regularization parameter that is used to address the overfitting problem in a model. And like this is a cost function that outputs the error. Here h theta is again the sigmoid function. It can be used for both 0 and 1. When we have y at 0, then the first term will become 0, remaining term will work for the cost function. When we have y as 1, this term will go out 0, this term will work for our cost function. In the similar way, this has been developed by people who are having, yeah. So I will give you a simple example of neural network to implement neural network using TensorFlow. Like neural network can be built from scratch as well, but nowadays technology is becoming more and more advanced, and people have developed several libraries, and these are easy to use. Like if we go from building the scratch, then that will take a much of time. So I will give you a very simple example that can be explained using of neural network using TensorFlow. So we will be building a neural network that predicts the price of house based on input parameter number of bedrooms, such that one bedroom cost 100K, two bedroom cost 150K. So we are using TensorFlow. We have imported TensorFlow as TF. We have imported NumPy as NP from TensorFlow import Keras. Keras is a TensorFlow API which are used for this algorithm. So now developing our baseline model, we have taken number of bedrooms as our X parameter, one bedroom, two bedroom, four bedroom. And the Y we have 100K cost and 150K cost. You can see that I have used 1.5 instead of 100 and 150K. Actually, I did this to make the values comparable so that our model works best, so that our models predicts value good. These are called feature scaling. I have scaled my data. So now coming to train the model, we have a built-in function in TensorFlow model tf.keras.sequential keras.layers.dense unit 1 input shape 1. Here I am taking only one unit, means I am building the simplest neural network, super simple example of neural network. That is why I have used units as one. If we are going for more than one layer, we will change the unit accordingly. If we are going 5 units, 5 layer, then unit will be 5. So coming to next function, model.compile optimizer SGD loss mean square error. SGD, we are using the optimizer as stochastic gradient descent to train our model, and the loss function is calculated using mean squared error. Again, now we will fit our model between X inputs and what is our output. And epoch is the number of states that we will be following. Means with each passing, means with each progressing loop, it will follow the model, refines itself, and it works better. And so we will be predicting our model for the house having 7 bedroom. So when we run our model, we can say that in the epoch 1 step, it is giving an error of 22.2068. In the second step, it gave a lesser error. So similarly, it goes on decreasing, giving lesser error, and a time comes when it goes to a steady state. So similarly, it runs through 500 loop. We can also, it's on our base, what value of epochs we will be taking 500, 400 to see. We will be seeing how our model is working best. So we can see that at the 499 step, it gave an error of 9.4211 into e power power 06. And in the final step, again, we are getting a value, means our model predicted a cost of 399.0958K of the price of house that is having 7 bedroom. You can see actually it is not giving the exact answer. Actually the answer should be 400K. But again, if we can also do something like that, it will never give exact value. And if it gives exact value, means our model can be exposed to overfitting as well. So it gives round very close but not exact. So this is what all about neural network. Hope I would have been able to present in a simple way with my best capabilities. And now my friend Parnava will present further. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to present.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, Sue.
Good morning, sir. 1 second, I'm screen sharing my content.
Yes, collect, and one has to present. If all 10 people presenting from the different end, it will take time.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, yes, yes.
So now, my topic for today is human intelligence versus artificial intelligence. The question between AI and human intelligence is not rather of who will win, but how they're connected and how they're going to coexist. So AI is usually a term used to describe the intelligence demonstrated by the machines. AI programs may mimic or simulate cognitive behaviors or traits associated with human intelligence, such as reasoning, problem solving, and learning. They do differ in terms of the nature, functioning, and learning power. Like HI aims to adapt to new environments by utilizing a combination of different cognitive processes, whereas AI aims to build machines that mimic and perform human-like actions. Even the functioning differs, where humans use brains, computing power, memory, and ability to think, whereas the functioning of AI differs from the humans since they rely on data and specific instructions fed into the system.
You are in which slide, Pranavra?
Second slide, sir.
No, it is not moving.
Now?
Not yet. Yes, give F5. Slide share. Yes, yes.
Now did it move to the second slide, sir?
No, no, no. Not yet steaming. Go to the slide, second slide, and then give Shift F5. Shift F5.
Oh my gosh, for me it's...
Yes, give that one.
Now, so, or can I ask someone else to share my PPT, sir?
No issues. You go ahead with your presentation. No, no, no. No issues.
Now can you see the second slide, sir?
Yes, 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 yes.
The HI and AI.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
Okay, please. These are few more differences between HI and AI. Whereas HI, the information processing will be very slow and they'll take and very slow when compared to the computers. Whereas in the artificial intelligence, they'll be like very quick with the ability to comprehend large amounts of data very quickly. And what AI can't do without the human factor. I do think that the comparison between AI and HI isn't a fair one. Granted that AI has helped develop intelligent machines that can outperform humans in some aspects, but they have yet to grow a very long way to match the human brain's potential. Although AI systems are designed and trained to mimic and simulate human behavior, they cannot make rational decisions like humans. And the decision making power of AI systems is completely based on the events, the data that they're trained on. So, as Nick Burns said, no matter how good the models are, they're only as good as the data provided. And when it comes to the future of AI, the entire future depends on how we use it. The future of businesses and human workforce can be potentially transformed and disrupted by AI as it rapidly evolves, enabling robots and machines to perform the tasks that humans do. From the, from the automation of simplest repetitive tasks, to making complex decisions. The opportunities offered by AI can lead us in variety of directions. As we continue to unlock the potential of AI, we'll be changing the way the world works fundamentally and forever. Few and the AI will have a huge impact on the future of jobs, economy, and the workforce. Will be welcoming new opportunities. The economic growth model will see a change when used with the purpose and not for the technology's sake. AI can unlock tons of opportunities for businesses and improve productivity and participation within the organization. Then, in turn, which will lead to a increase in demand for products and services and drive an economic growth model that delivers and improves the quality of living. There'll also be more room for creativity and innovation. With robots, AI, and automation taking some of the simplest tasks out of our hands, professionals will have more time to focus on thinking and delivering creative and innovative solutions and actions that are beyond the reach of AI and are squarely in the domain of human intelligence. Now, Lahari is going to continue with intro to expert systems.
Hello, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, yes, yes.
So is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So 1 minute.
Lahari, what happened? Go ahead. There is no audio from your side.
She's on mute.
Sir, 1 minute, sir.
Lahari, can I share the PPT if you're facing difficulty?
Only 3 people presented. Within 10 minutes, how it is feasible to complete or conclude other 7? Therefore, time management is very essential.
Share your PPT. I'm having some network issues.
Okay, I'll share the PPT. Can you just go on with your
Yeah,
presentation?
I'll send it to you. Wait, I'll send it to you.
I'm actually having yours, so.
Okay, share it.
Is my screen visible?
Yes, it's visible. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, audible. Go ahead, Lahari.
Okay, sir. Good morning, sir. Today I'm going to present about introduction to screen. I can't see the screen. So are you able to see the screen?
No, it went. I
Okay.
think Grishwar, what happened, Grishwar? Yes, yes, no, it's yes,
So,
continue the rest.
okay, sir. So introduction to AI, introduction to expert system. What actually expert system is? Expert systems are one of the prominent research domains of AI. It is introduced by researchers at Stanford University Computer Science Department. The expert systems are the computer applications developed to solve complex problems in a particular domain at the level of extraordinary human intelligence and expertise. An expert system is divided into two subsystems. The first one is inference engine and the other one is knowledge base. The knowledge base represents facts and rules. The inference engine applies the rules to know facts to deduce new facts. Inference engine can also include explanation and debugging abilities. Can you move to the next slide? Okay, thank you. So we'll move on to the characteristics of expert systems. There are 4, and they are high performance, understandable, reliable, and also highly responsible. Now, we'll go through the capabilities of expert systems. The expert systems are capable of advising, instructing, and assisting human in decision making, demonstrating, deriving a solution, diagnosing, explaining, interpreting input, predicting results, justifying the conclusion, suggesting alternative options to a problem. So I've just gave the introduction to expert systems. Now my friend Ilekia will continue the topic. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yes, like
Sir, am I audible?
yes, like yeah.
Yes, sir. So I have some problem with screen sharing my content, sir. So Grishwar will be doing it for me. Just a few seconds. Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, Grishwar, what happened?
Sir, 1 second, sir.
It, no, it won't be better for tomorrow's presentation. I request you to collect one person take lead and collect all the PPT and present from a single system, and it won't be take much time for presenting, and it is not feasible to wait for because see, we have only 50 minutes. 10 people has to present in. We need to give 5 minutes to each one. It is taking to for streaming itself, it is taking one minute. How feasible, how fast they will go ahead with the content. Concerning the tomorrow's class, you collect all the presentation and consolidate and present from a single system. Yes, like go ahead.
Yes, sir. So good morning, sir. Hi, guys. So I'll be presenting about the characteristics and capabilities of expert systems. Okay. Yeah. So the characteristics of expert system are like pretty much same to AI. They're similar, but they stimulate the human reasoning about the problem domain rather than stimulating the domain itself. They're like their capabilities are very deviant. They are good. They can derive solutions, do demonstrating, diagnose the issues, do explaining, interpret a particular issue, predict results. They are more like they are the demonstration of AI. They can also perform reasoning over the representation of human knowledge in addition to doing the numerical calculations or data retrieval. If you see, like they can perform various activities like predicting the weather and diagnosing the malfunction in equipment faults or human diseases. These data that expert systems interpret are most like sonar data or geographical measurements. They can be interpreted using expert systems. They can also predict the weather, share prices, exchange rates, and everything. They can also plan the sequence of actions in the robots they can do different activities. Can you move to the next slide? Yeah. So for the expert system, Lahari had mentioned some of the capabilities of expert systems, but there are also some incapabilities. Like expert systems cannot make cannot be substituting exactly the human decision makings. Like they cannot be the substitute for human decision making. They cannot possess human capabilities. They can produce an output, but that's not accurate output, or it's not adequate one. They cannot refine their own knowledge. So these are the incapabilities of expert systems. And there's a major difference between expert system and AI. Expert systems are a demonstration or the capabilities of AI, whereas artificial intelligence is the ability of a machine or a computer program to think, work, and learn and react like humans. They possess various differences, like from the components. They have different components. The components of AI are natural language processing, knowledge presentation, reasoning, problem solving, machine learning. Whereas the components of expert system are inference engine, knowledge base, user interference, knowledge acquisition module. AI is the system that acts in a way to an observer would appear to an intelligent, whereas expert system represents the most successful demonstration of the capabilities of AI. So these are the difference of artificial intelligence characteristics and capabilities and incapabilities. Now, following this, my friend will be presenting about the components of expert systems in detail. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Hello, am I audible, sir?
Yes.
So I'll be saying about the components of expert system today. Next slide. See, here in the middle, you can see there are three types of components in expert system, which are knowledge base, inference engine, and interface. Next slide. So first, I'll say about knowledge base. Knowledge base is an expert system which represents facts and rules. It contains knowledge in a specific domain along with rules in order to solve a problem and form procedures that are relevant to the domain. So the success of the expert system depends on collection of highly accurate and precise knowledge. Next slide. So here you can see there are two components in knowledge base, which are factual knowledge and heuristic knowledge. The knowledge is based on facts and accepted by knowledge engineers comes under factual knowledge. And in heuristic knowledge, you can see that based on practice and guessing, evaluation, and saying something based on experience. So knowledge representation is something, it's a method used to organize and formalize the knowledge in the base. Next slide. So this is the second component of the expert system, which is the inference engine. It is also known as the brain of the expert system, as it is the main processing unit of the system. It acquires relevant data from the knowledge base, interprets it, and finds solution as per the user problem. It is responsible for gathering information from the user by asking various questions and applying it where it is necessary. It performs the task in order to deduce raw facts which are subsequently used to draw further conclusions. Next slide. There are two types of inference engines, the deterministic inference engine and probabilistic inference engine. In deterministic inference engine, the conclusions are drawn from the type of inference engine which are assumed to be true based on facts and rules. But in probabilistic, it contains uncertainty in conclusions, and there are two modes by which we can derive a solution, which are forward and backward chaining. Next slide. Here you can see in the first picture, it shows the forward chaining. In the left side, you can see fact 1, fact 2, fact 3, and fact 4. These are various facts. Considering all these facts, from a chain of conditions and derivation, the expert system deduces an outcome. Then it sorts them before arriving at a conclusion in terms of arriving at a suitable solution. So basically, a chain reaction takes place. With this, an expert system can answer what can happen next. So a strategy is followed for working on a conclusion, results, and the effects. For example, we can say the share market prediction of share market will react to a change in interest rate, and also like weather forecasting and next slide. So next we have backward chaining. So in forward chaining, what we saw is using the facts with some rules, a decision is taken with which a conclusion is formed. But in backward chaining, it's the reverse of it. We can find why this happened with the use of backward chaining. You can see the diagram. In this, it moves backward. Strategy is followed for finding the cause or a reason. Depending upon what has occurred, the interference engine tries to identify the conditions that could have happened in the past to trigger the final result. For example, you can say diagnosis of type of cancer in humans, in which we can see backward chaining. So the rest of the components will be continued by my friend Hari Kumar.
Yes, how long we can take? Already it is 11:24. Do you have other classes? 11:30, do you have class? Or shall we complete this group? 1, 2, 3, 4 has to present. Representatives?
Yes. Hello, sir. Hello.
And Chitash, we request four more people to present to continue the presentation. Chitash, yes, it is not audible. Earlier it was.
Hello.
Chitash and KD Singh.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Chitash. Yes, Chitash.
Yes, sir. Rod B has a class at 11:40 or 11:45, like that, sir.
Yes. Go ahead, Gautam. Yes, thank you. Gautam, Grishwar, and Hari Kumar and Ajay. Yes, go ahead. And
Hello, sir.
yes,
sir. I am audible.
Yes, Hari Kumar.
Hello,
Yes,
sir. Hello.
Yes, someone. Yes, go ahead.
Kushdeep Singh here, sir. Our class is there from Pro Day. Our class is there at 11:30.
11:30. Do you have class?
Yes, sir. Production A class is there.
Okay. Anyway, we'll tomorrow we'll continue during 11:30. And I request these 4 people, you please rush up with your presentation during tomorrow class. And tomorrow we request the 5th batch to continue the presentation. I request all other batches you consolidate the presentation and you steam from one particular end. Don't steam from 10 different ends. It will take time, and each one plan accordingly. That is 5 minutes for every person. Don't take much. Okay. Tomorrow we will continue during 11:30. Thank you. Tomorrow we'll meet.